Hey guys, welcome to the 2.1 to 2.3 review. It's all about angles. Let's go ahead and get started. So first we have our learning targets. I can name and classify angles using the terms vertical, complementary, supplementary, linear pair, acute, obtuse, and right. So that was kind of our 2.1 target. Then the next one, I can solve for angles, so that was 2.2. And then our last one, I can use angle bisectors to solve for angles. So that was 2.3. So now we know where we're going. Let's get to it. First, we have naming and classifying angles. So angles are named using 3 letters. The 3 letters are the vertex and a point from each side of the angle. So in this case, we could call this one ABC or CBA, but the vertex, remember the vertex always has to be in the middle. So in this case, the vertex is B. So the only two things that we can call this are ABC or CBA. Okay, so now we're moving on to classifying angles, and we can classify them by measure first. So an acute angle is an angle that is less than 90 degrees. Those are the small angles. And then we have obtuse angles. They're the angles that are bigger than 90 degrees, but smaller than 180 degrees. So these are the big angles. And then we have the right angles, and they are right in the middle at exactly 90 degrees. So we have acute, little guys, obtuse, the big ones, and right angles right in the middle at 90 degrees. Okay, continuing with classifying angles, we can call angles adjacent angles. And what's special about adjacent angles is that they share a side. So like AOB right here and BOC share this side OB. So that means that they are adjacent. We can also call angles complementary. That means that their measures add to 90 degrees. So in this case, POQ and ABC have measures of 67 degrees and 23 degrees. And if we add those up, we get 90 degrees. So that means they are complementary angles. And then we have supplementary angles, which means that their measures add up to 180 degrees. So for this one, we have angle ABC, which is 130 degrees. And we have angle PQR, which is 50 degrees. And 130 plus 50 is 180. So ABC is supplementary to PQR. So we have adjacent, complementary, and supplementary. Continuing on with classifying angles, we have vertical angles, which means that when two lines cross, like AC and BD, they're the angles that are formed that are across from each other. So in this case, these two green ones, and then these two pink ones are also vertical angles. They come in pairs. So like angle AOB and angle COD are vertical angles. And vertical angles are special because they have equal measure. So this green angle has the same measure as this green angle. This pink angle has the same measure as this pink angle. Then we also have linear pairs. Linear pairs have measures that add up to 180, and they are also adjacent, so they also share a side. So they have to be supplementary and adjacent. So in this case, angle MON is 40 degrees, and angle NOP is 140 degrees. So those add up to 180. And then they also share this one side here, ON. And so that makes them a linear pair. Okay, so now we got to make this useful, right? So we're going to solve for angles. So in this picture, if ZOX is 77 degrees, we want to know what is the measure of YOZ. So looking at these two, they lie along a line together, and they share a side. So these two are a linear pair. So that means that they add up to 180 degrees. So we can put them added together, so the measure of ZOX plus the measure of YOZ equals 180 degrees. Then we can substitute in 77 degrees for the measure of angle ZOX. And then we just have to use our algebra skills to solve for angle YOZ. So we subtract 77 from both sides. And then we get that the measure of angle YOZ is 103 degrees. And then we're all done. Then for our next example, looking at these two lines cross, and these two angles are across from each other. So these are vertical angles. And we know that vertical angles have the same measure. So we can set them equal to each other. We can go x plus 16 equals 4x minus 5. Then we just have to use our algebra skills and solve, so we can subtract x from both sides. So we get 16 equals 3x minus 5. And then we can add 5 to both sides. So we get 21 equals 3x. And then we just have to divide by 3 on both sides, and we get that x is 7. Okay. So now, moving on to 2.3 angle bisectors. An angle bisector cuts an angle in half. So if MK, right here, bisects LKJ, that means that LKM and MKJ are equal. So these two angles are equal because this cuts it in half. Okay, so in this picture, if AB bisects angle CAD, solve for x. So since this is a bisector, that means that CAB is equal to BAD. So we can set them equal to each other. So we can set 33 equal to 4x plus 1, and we can use our algebra skills and solve for x. So we just have to subtract 1 from both sides to get 32 equals 4x. And then we can divide by 4 on both sides, and we get that x equals 8. So, did we meet our learning targets? Can you classify these angles as complementary, supplementary, linear pair, or vertical? Can you solve for x given this picture? And can you solve for x given this picture? Also note that this right here is an angle bisector, so it cuts this angle in half. So this part is equal to this part. All right, guys. Thanks for reviewing section 2.1 to 2.3. Good luck on your test on Tuesday.